making me get rid of some of my old stuff. Some old powerlifting gear, and this stuff brings back a lot of memories. This is some blank slingers, some things that were not made out of the correct material, and so I'm going through it. Like, I recognize this one. This is one of the early versions back in the day, and this is probably about 12 years old, and this is before I ever made one penny off a slingshot. So there's certain things that I can get rid of, and there's certain things that I can't. Like this guy over here. This is one of the first hip circles ever. It's just been sitting back here in a bucket, and the reason I know that is because it has this other thing sewn into it. This originally was, and same with this, these are knee wraps that were sold by a company called ATP. I don't know if the company still exists, but this is their material that I utilized years ago. And Juan Laiha sewed this together because Juan has a lot of experience in sewing our bench shirts and stuff like that together. So he messed with that. And there's some other things that are Frankensteined over here. This is just us messing around with our printer to see what we can print on products. This just kind of has a different material on the outside that we don't currently sell. A lot of stuff is stuff that we have never sold. It just never really worked out, and this is a great example of that. This is very Frankenstein, but this is Mark Smelly Bell's mind at work. I tried to wrap a knee sleeve in a way that I was thinking, like when I bent my knee and I squatted down, that maybe this would somehow catch or do something, but it didn't do shit. It didn't work. This is an old knee sleeve, and this one kind of means a lot to me too, because this is the first time we really ran into a lot of problems as a company, and this product right here would rip all the time, and we had to figure out how to make that right with our customers. So that was a huge turning point for the company, and we turned some doubters into people that ended up being kind of lifetime customers, because when people were frustrated, they're like, I got a hole in my knee sleeve, your products are crap. We said, yeah, we know our products are crap, we're sorry about that, we had a really bad batch, and we'll do anything we can to make it up to you. So we made it up to those people and took care of it like professionals. This one, kind of same thing, has a different outward material. As I'm looking through some of these things, I'm kind of just recognizing all the different, we've done so many different versions of a lot of this stuff. You can see we were like working on a belt that had, some of this kind of stretchy material in it. So it's a belt slash knee wrap type of thing. I've just been, working on all kinds of stuff, different colorways. And so there's a lot to go through over here, but what I would like to know, Smelly Bell has to do an overhaul, and the reason is because of the Natty Professor. And Seema's moving in. We need to make some room for him, so we had to clear out some stuff from storage. I think Andy Bell used that as an excuse so I can get rid of this old stuff. But I want you guys to let me know, what do you want me to do with this old stuff? Do you guys want some of this stuff? Because we'll send it out to you. There's nothing wrong with these products. They still work great. So in the comments below, let me know. You guys want me to send some of this shit out? What you want? Because it won't be me actually sending it out. It'll be one of my staff members. I won't have to worry about it. If it was me sending it out, I would just throw it all away or burn it. But anyway, yeah, let me know. Let me know what you want. I'll send you some of these stupid things. Look how ugly this colorway is. This is a camo. I gotta take it out of here just to do it justice, but this is really ugly. Not everything that you do works out great, but there's somebody out there who's like, that looks dope, man, send those to me. We got some Australian stuff. I mean, people ask me about things that I've tried that I've failed with. Yeah, there's lots of different stuff in here. Stuff with kind of the old logo on it. And people will say all kinds of stuff to me. They're like, hey, why don't you make an adjustable hip circle? Or why don't you make, this version of this thing? And it's always because we've tried it already. We've done it already. I mean, everything that you can kind of think of, I think that we've messed around with at one point or another. Man, looking at all this different stuff, you can see our old logo on there. This is one of the first full bores that we ever made, the angle sleeve. Mad Dog Slingshot with the old logo on it. our first attempt at putting some grippy type stuff in there.
How many years of products do you think this is?
This is 12 years at least. All the years. Look at this guy. Been through some battles, huh? This is one we made for Stone Cold Steve Austin that he liked a lot. I don't know if his ended up looking a little different than this, but I think that's what he went with. Broken Skull Ranch, Texas Rattlesnake, 316. So a lot of these things evolved over a long period of time. This is the Flex Gangster Wrap, and you can see, my wife, wrote on there with a marker years ago, and now we got something that looks a little nicer than that. And then I've shown you some iterations of the slingshots. This is the Mad Dog slingshot. This is a finished version. This is something that we sell currently. This is a slingshot push-up, and this, of course, is the hip circle. So things evolved. It took time. You guys saw this monstrosity right here. This thing. Just some weirdness going on in the material that's in here. It's hard for me to really show you on camera what these like briefs are, but this is like my attempt at making like a squat brief. It's like two singlets sewn together, and then there's knee wraps on the inside of this thing. It's just absolutely bizarre, but it didn't work, and so we had to make a real pair of briefs, which I can show you in a minute.
What's it like when something doesn't work and you have to send it back, and then you're just moving back and forth till you get it right? Oh, it's great.
It's great to mess up. It's great to have products that suck, because that with just a tweak, you can make something great. And sometimes things are like way off, and I'm like, oh my god, like that didn't work at all. But a lot of times I'm like, oh shit, like that's actually really close, and I know with a small tweak or change that we really have something great. And that's kind of what's been happening more recently. We have a bunch of stuff that we're about to unload that'll be really, really cool, that people will really enjoy a lot. So I actually kind of like it. I like when stuff is a little bit off, because I don't know how to actually make anything. It's just all in my head. And before I had Tom Thornton here, it was harder to communicate what was going on in my brain. Now I got Tom, he can at least make a 3D render of something, and then we can kind of figure out how to communicate that out to our manufacturer and then get the actual product made. But before that time, that's why we ended up with so much Frankenstein-y type shit that this is like, imagine having your brain full of this shit. That's what's in my head kind of all the time, and luckily I got a lot of it out, but there's still a lot more in there. I got a lot more webs to untangle.
What's this?
This is a hip circle from many, many years ago, and it's got me on there. I think we decided that we don't need to sell it that way. This is when we sponsored Joseph Benavidez right before the Reebok takeover. And so Joseph Benavidez won this. He wore this to the ring. This was his shirt that he wore, Beefcake. And you know what? He kicked ass that day, and he had a big old slingshot logo on his butt. So some of these things need to be put in our Hall of Fame. They need to be like hung up on the wall. We need to pay homage to these things. These are big. These are big deals to me. So here's what those. Here's what those janky briefs turned out to be. Just like a lot of the stuff that you saw today, a lot of the stuff over the years has changed a lot. And, it gets improved upon. These are briefs that we currently sell for people doing squats and deadlifts and stuff like that. And this is a much better version of what I showed you earlier. But I also feel like I'm a much better version of what I was years ago. A lot of it has to do with kind of having the courage to fulfill a lot of the things that were in my heart for a long time. And if you kind of look over this way, like all that stuff there is from a passion. It's from me just loving doing what I but I do. And it's from me consistently and constantly kind of poking holes and adding some criticism and conjecture into areas that I think could have used improvement. And so the slingshot is a little different because it's unique, and at that time no one made anything like it. And then in addition to the slingshot, there's also the hip circle. There's also the compression cuffs. Those are all things that didn't exist before I started pushing my creativity in a direction of like, let's stop thinking about these things, Mark. Let's stop talking about these things, and let's actually make sure that these things get done. My point in bringing this up is not to show off. It's not to show you like that I'm like living the American dream or anything like that. I have the same difficulties and struggles that many of you have, and it's not to say that my life is free of any of those things. All those things still remain. A lot of the things that you guys deal with are things I deal with as well. However, I believe that you guys have a slingshot in your heart. I believe that you have a slingshot in your brain. I believe that everybody has some sort of idea of something that can help them get to the next level, something that can help better themselves. And I'm not necessarily talking about an invention, because it's not always an invention. It's not always a creation. It's not always you going off on your own and doing your own thing. I have many successful friends that own like franchises, and they own this, they own that. I also have many successful friends that are part of a team. They're part of a company, and they excel within that, and they figure out a way to still end up getting a lot of the things that they want out of life, and they still figure out a way to express their creativity and to express the things that are inside of them. This is something I heard years ago, and it stuck with me very strongly, and it's something I'm going to share with you guys. Don't die with music in your heart. Get it all out while you're here. Get all that noise out while you can. All the creativity, all the stuff that you want to do. You want to play the piano? Friggin' go for it. You want to paint pictures? You want to be an artist? You want to be a writer? You want to be a director? You want to be a podcaster? You want to be a YouTuber? You want to be a power lifter? You want to be a bodybuilder? You want to be someone that squatted 1,000 pounds, someone that has inventions? It's all up to you. It's all a choice. It's all there for you. And this is an example of what it can end up being. I didn't inherit this. No one gave this to me. This is all stuff that I worked for. With my wife, with my family, there's a lot of people that have played a huge role in this, in acquiring some of these things. I don't want to, hopefully I never make it seem that way, because I'm not the only one involved in this. I got a great support system. I got a great team. I have a great family, great people that surround me, a great brother, a great dad, a great wife, great kids. A lot of people support this entire effort, but I believe that a lot of you have some good support on your side as well. And I also want to point out that I've had plenty of haters. I've had plenty of opposition as well. So you might think, oh, well, I don't have the support. I got a lot of opposition. I got people telling me that I can't do it. Well, I dealt with all that too. I'm just trying to point out the positive and point out the things that I got rather than the things that I don't got. Strength is never a weakness. Weakness is never a strength. Catch you guys later.